And we are live. Just like hello, hello, and we are live. We ain't got no countdown for you guys today. Hi, everybody. Hopefully, y'all have had a great week. I gotta make myself some notes, babe. Men Fuller have had an eventful
2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
Last week, this week.
I need one of your pens. Let me see. I can write on this. Hey everybody, how's it been going? How's your weekend? Baby, is the screen fuzzy? Or is it just my?
I'm thinking my glasses. Let's see.
Hold on, you guys. I gotta wipe the camera off. It's probably my glasses.
You got me looking dark.
But
I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna change.
But baby, Fuller got new glasses, you guys.
They look dark.
They are dark. What kind of glasses are those?
Zeppelin.
So you're not gonna make them lighter?
No.
That's how you're gonna do inside and outside?
Yeah, that's fine.
Look, okay, y'all.
I'm not trying to impress nobody else. Right. I like them.
Fuller don't need glasses no more. Hi, Janice. Janice, is this your first time joining us? I haven't seen that last name, but probably not. So, look, Fuller wearing glasses. He don't really need glasses anymore because he had cataract surgery.
Right.
So he can see perfectly fine.
Fuller's
used to, except for reading up close. And then he needs to change the glasses and put on his readers. But he wears the glasses because he's not used to not having on glasses. So
that's part of my persona.
That is. So now he got these cool glasses. Look, he's trying to show you from the side. So y'all give Fuller some feedback on the glasses. Not that he cared, but y'all can tell him what the thoughts are on the glasses. So, baby, how was your weekend?
Okay. Let's start with last Sunday.
Okay. I got to make myself some notes while you're talking.
Last Sunday afternoon after church, which Pastor preached a dynamic message, and it was really, really good. And we drove to Augusta, Georgia, where my sister-in-law, Trey's wife, was having surgery. And we drove down there Sunday after church, grabbed something to eat.
Came back Monday.
And then came back Monday. Tuesday, I had to go to work.
We did Godfidence with the
right. Did Godfidence with Doc Layton. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday we went to work. Wednesday I had to teach Bible study, which I got a lot of good feedback, and I hope it went very well for all the people, and it blessed them. Mm-hmm. Thursday we had homegoing with Brother Glorious Foreman, and it was one of the best that I've been to. It was, so we're not talking to y'all since that. It was a lively, I'm talking about the way that a believer, you ought to commend him to God. We commend him to God right. And he made a mark that cannot be erased. And the service, the singing was great. The comments and the remarks that was made was just uplifting, and they talked about him, and people was laughing, and it was just so good. But at the end, Glorious the third, he got up and made the final remarks, and my God, he set the church on fire. I'm talking about, he had a word for Dr. Don and Pastor Taffy. He had a word of knowledge for them, gave them that word. And man, and then he did the vision of world change, and all the people stood up and began to recite. And I mean, that was anointing on that. I mean, it was so anointed. Oh my God!
Yeah, he was telling
so good. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he was telling he gave a charge to each people that in their lives. So Mr. Foreman, of course, is the father, and he said, I could talk about how great my father was and all that, but today I stand here and I'm going to speak for him. since he's not here. And they gave a charge to Pastor Dollar,
Right.
Pastor pastors on the pulpit, and then he gave a charge to the family. Then he gave a charge to the people that were left behind, the PPAs and the audience. And he started out with the vision of world changes. He said, as we proclaim, that's all he had to do. The people that's been there for a while stood up, and everybody in the whole church that been there for a while,
Right.
that remember back in the day, in the old 99 days, they used to department. You're going to memorize
Right.
the church vision.
Uh-huh.
And so it was powerful, you guys. So that was,
and it was about
yeah,
male and female. And but they call them vision keepers now.
Yeah.
And it was about 30 or more there. It was amazing. It was just a great service.
Yeah.
The witness, I wasn't on program or anything, just to witness to God.
Yeah. And then the Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but we flew into Gulfport.
Right.
And it beat having to drive, and that was about an hour flight, which was good. And but we had an hour drive to get to Hattiesburg.
Right. Yeah, for my homeboy from Griffin,
Homeboy
Georgia.
from
Been down there about 40 years.
Yeah. So Fuller was the plan is that we were going to go on Saturday. They took care of us, by the way. Before I get to that,
Right.
Jack and Clem, after they know how to serve,
How to show hospitality.
Show hospitality. And so Saturday, Fuller was in charge. They charged him with or asked him to do a training on leadership, but his title
Ministry helps. Yeah,
Ministry helps. So that dog, I told Fuller, don't you ever teach another message. You teach on the ministry of servanthood. Serving is the platform for fulfilling God's destiny, your destiny, God's destiny,
your destiny.
Yeah. Yes, servanthood.
And if you look at the Bible, people that fulfill that destiny, it was Elisha served Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi. Ruth served Naomi.
Right.
John served Paul.
David.
Paul and Silas. Silas served, and just on and on.
Yeah.
David served Saul,
Mm-hmm.
and see different ones got promotion by serving. And so serving is the platform to fulfilling destiny. Nothing goes unnoticed or unrewarded.
And that
nothing goes unnoticed or unrewarded.
And sometimes, you think it's got to be a whole big old crowd of people. They only invited their leadership and the praise team. And then
my wife, my girlfriend, Darlene Smith, Antoinette,
and
Annette Smith, Quincy Fuller, AKA Q.
They asked me to do a workshop
on praise and worship. Only way I can describe it is like this. Paul and Silas was in jail, and they called, because of that praise, they called an earthquake to come, and the captive was set free. All the prisoners were set free. I'm telling you, that girl, the oil was all over. She was dripping the oil, just dripping. And I'm talking about everybody free. I'm talking about, I'm in the back of the room because I've taught already, so I'm just stayed in the back, standing back of the church. Man, had me standing up in the back. Clem and Jackie was standing. I mean, it was so anointed. And she covered everything from how to set the atmosphere, how to flow, how to change the song. You can change the sound of the song, the flow of the song, and then just showing you are a praise and worship leader or is in charge of the service. She controlled the atmosphere. She controlled the musician and the praise team
and the audience.
And the audience. And she's talking about being a lead. You lead people into worship. You don't point them toward it. You lead them in it. And I tell you what, I was so proud. I'm still proud, and I'm still gleaming off her message. Really,
full of, people say stuff that are in your family. Yeah. They're gonna always say good things about you.
Okay, call Clem. And the only thing I said, I send y'all my homeboy number and let him tell you.
Yeah. But baby, that's what I love.
But I'm still gleaming. Yeah. I mean, really. And I'm not just saying it because you, my girlfriend, and I got to stay here tonight. But really, I even text my sibling and told her the same thing.
Yeah. But praise and worship, or music. Let me just say, music of all kinds, but very specifically, the gospel, the regular Christian music, the jazz music. But when it comes to the praise and worship and having done it for so long and made a lot of mistakes. And I started out by saying, I'm not the expert,
Right.
but I done had my share of knowing how the response should be for praise and worship and how it shouldn't be. And, over talking or using certain terminology or ad-libbing too much or the way you address as a praise team, just being accountable. So thank you, babe, for that.
It was great.
It was good. And then my buddy that on Sunday then turned around and laid it down yet again. And what was the title?
It's gonna get better. It's called life.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Fuller taught that message before on a Wednesday Bible study, and he went through what God said he was gonna do, and he said, "What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Father, you said you was gonna supply all of my needs. Now, what you gonna do?" Man, that thing was so off the chain. I'm telling you, Fuller had the church going, and so, but that was our Sunday. Okay, then we flew back with Fuller, but again, Clem and Jackie Ector took care of Darlene and the bishop. It was a good trip. We came on back yesterday, got back last night, got home. Y'all, when we tell you we love being back in the house, we like being at home.
Yeah.
And then, but today, you guys, you see, the message says on the screen, things that make you say, because we always get our fair share of things that make you say, as you probably do as well. So as we were thinking about what our subject was going to be for today, we started out, Fuller called me and said, "Hey, girlfriend, wife, Darlene, are you working? Would you like to go to breakfast?" So I said, "You know what? I'm going to wrap it up. We can go to brunch, breakfast, lunch. Fuller eats breakfast. We both have breakfast." So Fuller, before we go, I'm on the phone and I'm talking to this young man about, I'm just going to legal shield. So he's asking a question. And so he said, as he was talking to me, baby, he said, "So my lady got a speeding ticket." And he goes on to tell me about it. And I said, "Well, I'm not the attorney." I said, "But, let me tell you about how this service works." And then so I said, because I didn't want to tell him the whole, and he said, "Well, this is my lady, my wife." So I said, "Oh, it's your fiance." That's what I said. Darling, that's the difference between women and men. We don't ask stuff like that. I said, but it just made me think, why would he say, that's my lady?
Now look, if any men out there, which I said that we as men wouldn't have asked that question, we wouldn't even pursue the an extra question.
I was just curious.
Well, first of all, first thing you asked me, no, I am over 50.
Okay.
So generation over 50 would say, that's my wife. Now, I don't know what under that 50 might say, because to me, that's my wife. That's that's taking, I don't want to say ownership, but it works both ways. I'm not saying ownership because I own, but hey, I'm proud. Yeah. I'm taking honor that's my wife, right. So I would say my wife, or sometimes I refer to you, I said my wife is Darlene, right. My girlfriend is Q, but she happened to be the same person.
Right. So I think what he was saying is that he cleaned it up to say, "Oh, no, she's my wife," because the benefit covers a spouse and the member.
But so he was living together for about 10
That's what he was saying.
Right.
That's the part I'm getting to. That's the part I'm getting to. He was trying to say that we've been together for 10 years and we are considered, that's my woman. We ain't married, and the bishop, come on and talk to us.
Bishop Turner said, "Fully, you're right.
Let me see.
Correct.
Let me see. I'm gonna try to do something. So this gonna be interesting. I'm gonna see if I can do this. Now, Bishop Turner, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I want to see if this will work. Okay, and I'm just gonna do it. Okay, and only Bishop Turner, I want you to look in the chat. And I want you to see if you can click on this link that I'm going to post in the chat now. Okay, I posted it now. It came from the Fullers on Godfidence. There's a link there. If you click it, I want you to click it. And if it worked, we're going to pull you into this discussion. This is live, you guys. This is Godfidence. This is Monday, February the 23rd. We don't have no, No scheduled conversation. We got to schedule conversation.
But while he's trying to
figure it out.
So we went to breakfast this morning. That was really exciting to me. We went to breakfast this morning. So one of my favorite spots, I'm not going to put them on blast. Because I'll let you get your own opinion. But we went, well, if you do it, it's fine. So I've been frequenting this restaurant maybe about once a week.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't go once a week, I go twice one week and maybe not. It's not that it's so great, but I like the laid back atmosphere. I mean, it's like peaceful. It's really just good. I really, really like it. So anyway, Darlene, she go because I like it. So I got to give it to her. She don't really like it that much, but she goes because she know I like to go there. So anyway, the owner has never greeted me, never said anything to me, even though he don't go to every table, but he speaks to other people and greet them and make them feel welcome. And I've noticed just especially the last 3 times I've been in there, he never made, and I went to the bathroom today and he was standing near the bathroom and he looked down to keep from greeting me or being speaking or anything. He didn't speak anything. And I told Darlene when I got back to the thing, I said, look, I'm not coming back anymore. I like to go there and stuff, but I am not going to go to the restaurant anymore. Now, go ahead. So
then I said, Fuller, now you sure? And he said, well, we come here quite a bit.
I said that before I went to the bathroom. But then when I came back, I told you, definitely not coming back anymore.
I said, okay, because I ain't all down for the place anyway. I only come because you come. And so I said, okay. So Fuller said, I'm going to go to the restroom. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, while Fuller went to the restroom, I went to the front and I said, do you guys have a comment card? Now, you guys, we're not the people. If y'all are a couple or there's always somebody, we're going to have to talk about this. There's always one person in the relationship. There's somebody going to call the manager or somebody going to complain about the food or whatever. That's not us. So
we call to get comment.
We call, yeah. So I went up front and I asked her, did she have a comment card? And the lady that was at the cash register said, no, we don't have a comment card. At most, that if somebody has a comment, then we normally go get the manager. I said, no, don't do that. And I said, okay. So I walked off. Then I noticed as I was walking off, the lady that served us, she was talking to the person I had just talked to. So it made me feel like, as I looked at her face, that she probably thought I went up to the front to give comments about her in a negative way. And I didn't want her to feel that way because she did an absolutely great job.
Really did.
So we gave her a great tip, right? And so Fuller and I were getting ready to walk out. And I said, I saw the girl's face and I said, no, I got to make that right. So I turned back around and I went over and I said, hey there. I said, first, I want to say that you did an amazing job. My comment was not for you. I said, I actually would like to give some feedback. And I was asking her, do you have a comment card? And so she said, no, we don't have any comment cards, but I can go get the manager. I said, no, I don't want to I don't want you to go get the manager. I said, I want to tell you because I want you to give the feedback to the manager because I don't have time for him to come over. And once we give the feedback about his behavior, for him to start apologizing, for him to make excuses. And I just said, you know what? Let me just tell you what happened. So I told her everything that Fuller just said. And I said, so we won't be coming back. We'll give our business to someone else because it would be different because we go there at least once a week. We on average,
for sure,
once a week. And that man has never once come and stopped like he does the other tables. He goes to almost not every table.
Right.
He randomly goes.
But he don't go, but he speaks.
But the point is that we go every week and he's never ever come over to us.
And I go by myself if you can't go. Yeah.
So I told her what I said. Then Fuller and I walk out together and he walks over to my car because we drove separately because I was getting ready to go to a meeting. And so he walks over to my car to bring me a box of chips that I asked him to get from the store. So we're putting the chips in the back of the trunk. And all of a sudden, the manager walks out.
The owner.
Is he the owner?
He's the owner.
What?
Yeah, he's the owner.
The owner walks out from out of nowhere. I ain't never seen him walk outside because he's always inside serving.
And it's cold.
And it's cold and he don't have no jacket on. So he walks outside and he says, hey, is that is that an electric car? Talking about my car.
BMW.
And I said, he didn't even say that.
He did say BMW. It's electric BMW.
Okay. I said, yes. So now
How
my
do you like
disposition.
it? How do you like
I said,
it?
yes. Now he ain't ever said 2 words to us. And so I said, I like it a lot. And then so he said, you know, my wife, her car was messed up one day. Now, y'all, we don't even know where this conversation
So he
comes
liked
from.
BMW. They like BMW.
They like BMW.
Right.
So he said his wife's car was on the brink or something. So one day she decided she was gonna go and get oh, it won't allow you to join Turner. Dog, man. Let's see. So
Cooper.
yeah. So then maybe go ahead and tell the story.
No. Go ahead. Fill in the gap. He said to fill in the gap between getting up my car back, we bought a Mini Cooper. We said, oh, Mini Cooper. Darlene said, we got 2 of them. I said, no, we have 3. Austin and Paige have 1 and I have 1.
He had to show out, y'all.
And he said, what do you have? I said, a Countryman, which that's the biggest Mini Cooper they make. And I said, we got 3 Countrymans, 2014, 2019, and 2025. So he just comes out, oh my God. And then and I said, I have that, and I did it on purpose. I said, and I drive the Audi over there, but I love my Mini Cooper. I drive it most of the time. And Darlene said, we drive it downtown. So we just, he was just so buttery, just so talkative and just going on. Matter of fact, he was talking so much and so much. I said, look, I got to go. It's cold out here.
No, Fuller then told him about the other car. I mean, he's having this whole conversation. So anyway, so it just was really interesting to see him, how he engaged and how we treat our customers, which is so important that we don't ignore people regardless of who comes most often. But I was just thinking that he would have gone around to everybody because the place wasn't that busy.
Right.
To just talk. But Fuller said to me when we got back to the car, he said, Darlene,
you're a bad girl.
I said, what you mean by that, babe?
I said, you're a bad girl.
What you mean by that, babe?
Because you confronted it more or less or addressed it
in a kind professional way.
In a kind professional way. And that was an amazing response. And he was butter, sugar, honey was running off his lips.
But he never stopped and said, you know what?
And the thing about it, he is, I don't know, he's not Asian.
He's Indian.
Indian.
He is Indian.
Okay. And so I don't know why he got this superior attitude. But anyway.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know. You know, and it also could be that people feel intimidated by, I don't know. I don't even know why I said that.
Outstanding African Americans.
Right. But we go there all the time. So anyway, you guys, so we're sitting there. This before that incident happened, however. Something else happened.
Let me just say that. Cuz Jimmy Harris, send your number, DM me your number. Hey, what's up, cuz? No, long time no talk to. Anyway, something else happened. Go ahead.
Okay, so hold on. Miss Norma says, do you think he was genuine? I think, Miss Norma, he came out because he got called out.
Right.
And he was coming to try to say something with the first thing that he saw, though, was the car.
Without saying, he found something to talk about that we could talk about.
That lighten the conversation.
Lighten the conversation. Yeah. But he never said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go back next week. And I'm just going to see if he's going to come over to the table and say anything. And if he don't, I won't go back again ever.
Yeah.
But now he know up in the face, and I'm not a punk. I'm not going to run away. So that's why I'm going back.
Yes.
And I thought that was quite interesting.
Look, Ms. Norman talking about, Good afternoon. All the way from Texola, Oklahoma. What? Right. Where's a Texola? Is that by Ada, Oklahoma, or by Oklahoma City? Where is that at? Yeah, Miss Norman. That's what we said. We don't try to make a big deal out of stuff, but we noticed that there's a pattern. Every time we go, he stopped, and it's a different person, and they probably do come in all the time, but we come in all the time too. Right. So anyway, but before all of that happened, we were there, and Fuller said, I'm
gonna get one more story and then let her go. We might go over a little bit today. Yeah, we're gonna go over a little bit today.
It's already 6:27.
Let me say this. I thought it was quite interesting today. The things that make you go, I was in Kroger to buy some water, and these 2 young white boys walked up to me. One, there was about, I guess, 12, 11. So he walked up to me, and he had this penny. He pulled them, both of them, and they looked at me and said, what value do this have, or what was you giving me for this penny? And me being quick on my feet, I said, I give you some advice. That's the best thing I can give you. I said, love and kindness is always in season. And I didn't want to be able to say, and you'll reap a harvest. So I say, you show love and kindness, people will show you love and kindness in return. And you have love and kindness, people show you all your life love and kindness. And I said, thank y'all for even asking me. And I said, I give you my advice. And I said, that was nice of you guys. And they just smiled and they were just so friendly. And I like that when people show strangers or just come up to you and speak. And I thought that was really, really kind of them. And they left just smiling from ear to ear, both of them. So I thought that was things that make yourself,
Well, look at here.
The bishop. Bishop. My long lost son. I'm gonna bust you out on Godfidence.
Look, yes, we just be throwing people into the mix.
I see it. I had to figure it out, but I figured it out. And once you sent me the last link.
Yeah. So I invited you because we were talking about
the
difference between when people say this is my man and this is my husband. What you think, Tyrone Turner? You've been just recently married. Come on, sir.
And when you say it's my man or it's my woman, that means it's exactly what it is. It's not being married. It is exactly what they're presenting.
Right.
Why do you think? Why do you think people? Why do men do that? Because I don't know if women do that. We were trying to.
It's not man. You think she would say it's not her husband?
I think a woman if they're married, if they're not married and they just live together, I think she would still say it's my husband.
Okay.
Because we try to cover what we're doing, and so we just go ahead and just say this is my husband.
Now, Bishop, can I speak for us? And you come in on that because we don't roll like that.
No, we don't. That's why I said correct. Most of the time, at our age, if you're my wife, then I'm going to present you as my wife.
Right.
And that's how at least our age group does. But this new generation is a little bit different now. Right.
That's why I can't speak. Different. I can't speak for anybody under 50.
Yeah. So we didn't introduce Bishop Tyrone Turner. In fact, I'm going to leave off the bishop part. I'm going to say this is Tyrone Turner.
Right.
That's right.
He's good with that.
Yes. And so fully introduce Turner.
What I've been doing 20 years.
Oh, been about at least 20 years.
At least 20.
And he joined at Godfidence
maybe 25.
So you guys never know. We may pop you in or ask you to join just on the spot. And so we just he don't even know that we were going to ask him to join today.
I had to get prepared.
No, he's a pastor in Dublin, Georgia. I've been down there to preach for him several times. I must say, he seeks my advice when he's going to make a major decision. And one thing, he seeks advice and he do it. And so a lot of people ask your opinion, but he seeks advice. That's a different thing, your opinion and advice.
Yeah.
Also, he's a commercial contractor. He build building and specialize in churches. So he's a handyman. He can do it all. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. Look, Bishop Turner. Somebody said I've heard women say this is my old man. Yeah, I've heard women say this is my old man. But that's a season.
Yeah,
and that's a seasoned woman there now.
Yeah.
That's their season.
That's a seasoned woman. Calling that on out.
They're not married, but they've been living together 30 years.
Absolutely, and I think it's something varies from.
So I was about to mention to the audience here that as Full and I were sitting having breakfast this morning, we hadn't left that establishment we were just talking about. But so this couple walks in. Y'all know y'all people watch. I like to people watch. I don't like to accuse people of anything, but I done had my share of just life. And so we were just observing. And I was telling Fuller, I said, I remember when we first started dating, me and Fuller be sitting in the booth, Tyrone Turner, we'd be all up on it. We was all lovey-dovey and stuff. So this couple walks in. They lovey-dovey. Now one got on the ring, the other one don't. The female, I think, had on a ring. The other guy just had like a fashion ring on or something, but it was on his head. So I said to Fuller, we just sitting there just having a conversation. I said, they either married,
right,
just got married,
courting,
or dating, or
cheating.
one of the above.
Right. Now, Turner. Now I wouldn't have thought all of that. I just thought that there's a happy couple and left it alone.
So So Fuller said,
Wait a
It'll be
minute.
a different story. Now she's very observant. I think most women are very observant in the when you're people watching it. I guess in today's time you have to watch your surroundings, especially when you're out of town. So as you're looking, you're also observing. And I think that women are going to do more observing than men. I'm just going to look at them and say, hey, okay, they're doing their thing, and I'm flipping on to something else.
Absolutely.
So Turner, while me and Fuller sitting there, he said the same thing that you said. And he said, babe, he said, women, y'all ask so many questions. Y'all notice so many things. But I was like, look, babe, I remember when we was dating, it just, the whole vibe was, I mean, they was like overly loving them. I said, babe.
It was.
It's just something for us to
talk about. There was in a booth, and they was on side of each other, and they were just lovey-dovey. Yeah. And I wouldn't have, like you said, I wouldn't have went into detail. Like, I wouldn't have went up to the girl and talked to her about the manager the owner not speaking. I would just not went back to the restaurant again.
Yeah. Now, in that particular case, I felt some kind of way about that, because somebody else on here is probably saying, Darlene, why did you go up there to talk to the manager?
I think you went. I think because you love me, because I was offended.
Well, and it was the principle. Right. No, it's the amount of times that we go to that particular restaurant
and always leave good tips.
Absolutely.
But also because he was making rounds to everyone else. Now, he never showed his face and come through.
He didn't speak when I went by the bathroom, when he was standing right by there.
And then full of that, now that really bothered him. So I said, okay, this I don't mind talking to people for a living. That's what I do. And so I just went and had that discussion. But also before that, we started having all these different discussions about relationships and just things that make you say, Is there anything, Turner, that make you say, in relationships now that you've been married now? How long?
Well, actually, a little bit over a year now.
Wow.
Good.
Actually, we were just talking about the scenery, that's going on in Mexico. Actually, we were in Puerto Vallarta this time last year.
Okay.
And that's where we did our honeymoon at. And then we went to, matter of fact, this past January, we went to the Dominican Republic for a week. And but I'm glad we were not in Puerto Vallarta, because I tell you, they're being stranded over there now. But
yeah, my co-worker was supposed to go to Cancun for vacation on Wednesday, and then he canceled. He's like, I'm not gonna get stuck over there. And so, but any advice do you have? Because I want your wife to come back on with you whenever you got some time. But any advice, because you're newly married, you've been married before, right?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. And so, but any advice, we're at time, but anything you would like to share, from being married, now remarried, in love, finding love again, that you'd like to share to the audience?
Yeah, well, challenging, coming from where I came from, a divorce. I like to be real, and then trying to get back into the market of being married. I think that my advice would be is to take your time, because oftentimes it takes a little bit of time to find the right person. And if there's someone else, and here's the kicker, if there's someone else that you're not over, make sure that is totally, completely done. Because if not, then there could be a lot of infractions as you move forward into a new relationship. That means cut off all communication. Has to settle. And so I had to have an opportunity to go through counseling, and certainly with Bishop Fuller, but then also we did some side counseling outside of that. And it really helped to understand who I was and be able to channel this new relationship to give it 100%, and making sure that we all the doors were closed from my past.
That's good.
That is good. Those are things that make you say,
Absolutely.
We never think about, because we think we're moving on, but we still got leftover baggage from before.
Absolutely.
And we think that it's all resolved because we found somebody, potentially found somebody new, but you haven't closed the other doors. Like last week, I don't know if you were listening, but Dr. Layton and Dr. Barber were asking our advice on a guy that had lost his spouse, but
remarried.
He remarried, but he was still holding on to old clothes. He couldn't get rid of the old things, and so he was still trying to move into this marriage relationship, but he wouldn't get rid of any.
He got clothes, pictures,
old things
and
he didn't
everything
want
in the house.
Yeah.
All the house, they moved into his existing house, but he still got everything in the house, all the clothes from the past. He don't want to get rid of anything. So that was really interesting. Things that just make you say, people got different issues going on. But we're learning a lot, even just doing the show and hearing people and their stories.
Absolutely.
So thank you for jumping in.
And let me just say this about, you talked about being divorced and being remarried and cutting off make sure there's no communication from the past. Matter of fact, I'm going to get on a Zoom call tonight at 7 o'clock. It's going to be divorce care. And it's for people that's been divorced. And one of the things that some of the lessons talked about is cutting that past and don't move too fast. Don't start dating immediately, because you wind up with somebody just like you just left them, because you're familiar with them. And you'll make up. And it's a big, most of the time that people do that, 99% of the time, it's a mistake. And so my sister Vera and my brother Uncle Boo, they call him Uncle Boo, his name Elliot, Vera and Elliot, lead that group for me. And so it starts at 7 o'clock. So anybody out here divorced and want to be a part of that ministry, just DM me and I'll send you the information. I'll make sure you get the information.
Yeah. So
Bishop, let me throw this at you. I was just thinking about something that you gave me and some advice that you gave me, and I actually give this advice to other men that are trying to transition, decide whether I'm going to get married, cut the ties from wherever they feel like they've got a heartstring tied to. But one of the things that you said to me was, go on, share your location through Life 360. Was one of the best things that I could ever do. Now, I don't advise everybody to do that until you feel like that you are ready to do that. But what it does is it shows your spouse the level of openness that you're willing to go to. And then here's another thing. Be willing to, at this point in my life now, I have nothing to hide. So I put it all on the table. My cell phones, my contacts. When you're able to do that, there's a level of freedom there, and there's a level of security that.
Wow. Did Tyrone Turner?
No, he was talking. He just went blank.
I know he just went. Tyrone Turner, if you still listening, you're gonna have to come back, because you were giving a good word.
Right.
But baby, I'm gonna let you.
We're gonna have to get him next week.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let you answer Daryl's comment. He says, "That's where I am." He was talking about what Tyrone Turner said. He says, "That's where I am. I'm loving." It says looking, but he says, "I'm loving this unmarried life. However, I've got too much love to keep it to myself."
Wow,
that's powerful.
Wow.
What do you say to Daryl? He wants to find love again, but got too much love. He liked being unmarried.
Well, he better enjoy doing what he's doing, because if he's not ready to make that commitment to give all that love to somebody, he always gonna be selfish, because he's gonna want to satisfy himself or please himself. Not that it's selfish in a bad way. Right. But it's some things that he's not going to want to turn over. There's some things he's not going to want to give away of himself. There's some things he might not want to change. So if you're not willing to make that change, because being married is called for sacrifice every day. Yes. Every hour of the day, every minute of the day, it calls for sacrifice, because you got to think of that other person first before you do anything. I can't just say, I'm going to go up here and get me a room. I just want to do something different and not tell you. I'm not thinking about the consequences. You want to contribute on that?
Yeah, I will. And I think what happens, Bishop, oftentimes when women pick up on things that we don't pick up on. We may think that going out a certain time of the day, a certain hour, or say, hey, I'm going over here. They're looking at it. Well, what's going on here? Their mind is different than us. So we have to be clear with our communication on what we share. And if you say you're going from point A to point B, then you don't mind her knowing where you're going at. You can pick up the phone and say, hey, Do you have any, if she calls you, you can directly pick up the phone and say, hey, do you need anything, babe? Or whatever that is.
Right.
And that takes away those doubts inside of her,
Suspicion.
in her mind, where she's processing that. And
Right.
and men, we don't think anything of it. I know I didn't, but until I went to counseling, that's when I was able to kind of get through that and begin to understand her part. And rather me saying, well, this is where I've always gone, I'm going, no, it's not an argument. She's just wanting to know where you're going, and that's going to give her peace of mind, and you're going to have a better relationship. I know it works for us.
Yeah. Daryl then writes back again. He says, I'm glad I tuned in. I never thought about that. But I tell you this, and Fuller says it all the time to me, darling, you ask a lot of questions. And it's not because I'm trying, it's not that I'm trying to interrogate. It's a woman's intuition or nature is the word I'm looking for, to ask, to inquire. It's like, because, when my kids were smaller, they say one thing, and so I'm asking the next question, and I'm not asking it to catch you in a story, but we're inquisitive.
Right.
We ask those things. So when you open up, like you're saying,
inquiring minds want to know.
Right. So Turner, when you open up, when Fuller opens up, Daryl, when you in that next relationship and you open up, it's more. We appreciate you being free to share, free to not make things feel, because Fuller and I have counseled people, and the one thing, the common denominator is that trust.
Yeah, right.
Trust.
And keeping your word.
And keeping your word.
Yeah. Hey, are y'all available next Monday? You and Sandy?
Absolutely. I will let her know. We'll be glad to jump on.
Okay.
We're going to invite you back.
So Daryl will be back on, and we're going to deal with some of this subject matter.
Okay.
I'm just, thank you for tuning in, but, it's so much that we can talk about in this. Darlene and I both, we got not trackers. What is it? Located.
Find my location.
Find my location on our phone. Location. She knows where I'm at. I know where she at. Not that we don't trust each other, but that could be a medical emergency. That could be something going on. A car could be down. I don't have to try to figure out where she's at. She got to try to tell me. I can find it. And there's a level, like you said, there's a freedom because there's a level of trust. Absolutely. And so she's freely to give her all herself to me, and I'm free to give all myself to her. And that's what we're talking about, Daryl. We're talking about giving totally over to ourselves, to one another, making that sacrifice, die to Fuller, so Fuller might live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, you guys, this was an unplanned guest. What do you call it? A guest. Right. What do you call it when you
pop up guest?
Bomb. Yeah. Yeah. So
spontaneity.
So great discussion tonight. Thank you, Renee, for saying that. And Daryl's got clarity, but Daryl's gonna come back next week.
And I want to give my sister Jennifer a shout out.
Okay.
Also,
Jennifer was on here tonight.
Yes,
Jennifer was going through a healing. She finished her last, if I can say it, radiation treatment. The bell rings. Yeah. For Jennifer.
She's healed, whole, and walking in health, walking in divine health.
Yes. So thank you all for joining us tonight.
Staying 15 minutes over.
Very impromptu, Daryl. Thank you. Yes, it was. We always just come up with other subjects as we're talking. So we'll continue with our discussion next week on finding love again. And we're so glad that you guys joined us, Verdell. Thank you for that. Everybody, thank y'all for joining in, and we will see y'all.
Yvonne, always on. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Always
committed for the last almost 5 years.
Miss Adams, always on there.
Yes, and so always, y'all look, we're out of here. We've had a great weekend. We're gonna go get some rest and relax and have dinner, and we will see you guys next reboot. We will see you guys next Monday with our guest. Tyrone Turner and his wife. Sandy. Will be on. And so you guys have a great weekend, or have a great week. I don't know. Made it the weekend.
Right.
We got stuff going on. Yes, because my niece is coming into the town, so we got guests coming too. Y'all have a great one. Love you. Appreciate y'all. Take care.